The Flyers made the decision on Thursday morning to fire head coach John Tortorella. He had some controversial comments on Tuesday. It's now come out he had a altercation of some sort with Cam York. So there were definitely a lot of fans that were happy that Tortorella was gone. Some of them thought it was too soon, wasn't the right move, but definitely a lot of happy fans out there. And there's definitely some happy players as well to not have a coach like Tortorella breathing down their neck. He's a hard-nosed coach. That's what he's known for. He gets the best out of his players, but sometimes it wears on them. And it's just what happened. So this video here, we're going to be looking at the 5 players who are probably the most happy that Tortorella is gone. Of course, there's going to be comments saying that it's the whole team, and it probably is most of the team seeing Tortorella gone. They were definitely lighter on their feet on Thursday night with Michkov and John Tortorella each getting 2 goals and a big win over Montreal. So let's get right into it here, starting, of course, with Matvei Michkov. He scored the first goal of the post-John Tortorella era on Thursday night on a great play from John Couturier and Travis Konechny. And, Matvei Michkov, when he came over this summer, he was kind of immediately the focus of the franchise. Prior to that, it was John Tortorella's team. It was him molding the team. We still had the captains, obviously, with Couturier. Lawton was here, Konechny. Those guys were, the focus of the team. But John Tortorella was probably one of the most important people in that building. And that was until Matvei Michkov made his way to North America in July, immediately went to work and immediately changed the direction of this franchise. Michkov's trials, tribulations with Tortorella have been well documented this season. He had those healthy scratches in November. He's had a few, back and forth on the bench with him, including in that Islanders game where he was benched. Verbal altercations back and forth. And yeah, it was, it's just, not playing with the right line mates, getting his time on ice cut here and there. So yeah, Michkov not having to have Tortorella behind him on the bench, watching every move he has, it's definitely going to be easier for him. It's going to be something where he's, maybe happier playing hockey now, maybe a bit more open now. And we definitely saw that on Thursday night. Almost had the hat trick, should have had the hat trick, but hopefully this is more to come here from Michkov. 2 goals last night. He's now one of the rookie leading scorers. So Michkov has to be one of the top guys that is happy Tortorella's gone. And then today in practice, Jordan Hall tweeted out a video of him going for a pretty sick shootout move. So to take a look at that here. You just got to wonder if he would even attempt that move if Tortorella was running that practice. So Michkov definitely, a little more open now, a little bit more dynamic. Hopefully we can see that moving forward. Secondly, here we have Cam York. It's come out now that Cam York and John Tortorella had some sort of verbal altercation. Cam York was benched after midway through the first period on Tuesday night. He did not play. I mean, he dressed. He was active on Thursday night, took warm-ups and everything, but did not play due to a disciplinary issue. He took complete ownership of that on Friday after practice. So yeah, having Cam York not have John Tortorella there, he has to be one of the guys that is the happiest. I mean, he's played with John Tortorella. He's definitely probably made him a better player, but just this is what happens with John Tortorella. The leash gets a bit shorter there, and Cam York definitely felt the effects of that. He was a healthy scratch a few weeks ago, and he voiced his concerns with that. He was not sure why it happened. And yeah, that definitely was a part of why Tortorella was ultimately fired. So, seeing Bradshaw, the defensive coach there behind the bench as the interim guy now, definitely has to be something that makes Cam York a bit happier. And he's a restricted free agent this summer. So we'll see how that impacts the Flyers' plans, whether they give him a short-term contract, longer-term contract, or look to move him. But having these final few weeks of the season without John Tortorella there, definitely hopefully give us a better look at Cam York being a more happier player and better player, hopefully, the rest of the way. After that is the guy that Tortorella kind of called out last year around this time, Sean Couturier. He was named the captain in February. The next month, he was a healthy scratch for a few games. Couturier's agent came out and called out Tortorella for his lack of communication regarding that scratch. And yeah, Couturier is never a guy that's going to come out and speak his mind too much. And, he's a hardworking guy. And we saw him as well on Thursday night get those 2 goals. So hopefully Tortorella's system not being there anymore maybe opens things up for Couturier, and he can get back to what he was a bit before those injuries. But nevertheless here, I mean, the veteran center, he's under contract for a while here. He's the captain. He's going to be here in Philly, and having a coach that can maybe play more to his strengths and just be more open on the ice for Couturier might be something that definitely helps him moving forward. So Couturier was one of the first and potentially only veteran players that Tortorella called out that the Flyers did not eventually move on from. Of course, Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee. We saw Cam Atkinson get bought out. We'll see what happened with Cam York, and Couturier has lasted throughout this. So he's lasted through a ton of Flyers coaches over his career. So Tortorella probably low on that list, and he'll be happy to move on to the next one. Getting back to a bit of a younger player here is Bobby Brink. Bobby Brink has definitely had a great transformation this season under John Tortorella. Great on that line with Noah Cates and Tyson Forster. But we all remember last season he had a demotion. Tortorella just reamed into him on the bench after a stupid mistake against the Devils or against the Capitals there. So Bobby Brink was kind of the whipping boy there for a bit last season. Definitely played a lot better this season, this time around, but hope and he can use those lessons from Tortorella to move forward here. But he's got to be happy to not have Tortorella behind the bench. He, be a little bit more open with his play, a little bit more offensive, hopefully. So Bobby Brink, number 4 here on this list. And finally, he's only been here for less than 2 months, but Jacob Pelletier came in and Danny Briere said he wanted to trade for him. He targeted him from Calgary in that trade for Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee. And then Tortorella came out, put him on the 4th line, said he's not really sure what to do with him. He doesn't get enough ice time, even though Tortorella decides his ice time. And credit to Pelletier. He was great throughout that. He was plugging along on the 4th line with Rodrigo Abels and Nick Delorier. We saw him get promoted to that 3rd line now with Ryan Poehling and Owen Tippett. And that's been a boon for him. So Pelletier, he had Daryl Sutter in Calgary. He had John Tortorella here. So he has to be happy to get kind of under the thumb from those old hockey men. And I have to mention here, Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost, the Calgary Flames, tweeted out a picture of Morgan Frost smiling with a caption of game day with a nice smiley face there after Tortorella was fired. Definitely a little bit of a shot there at Tortorella and the Flyers. Good on them. Good on the Calgary Flames social media team there. And yeah, I mean, this whole team is probably a little bit lighter now on their feet for these final 8 games of the season now. We saw a win on Thursday night. They got two games coming up. They have plenty of winnable games down the stretch. So we'll see if this team keeps that going. Even if it does hurt those draft lottery odds, it'll be good to see this team, playing better, being a little bit more happier, a little looser, and maybe that can hopefully translate to next season. And we will see who is the coach behind the bench. There are 5 candidates we have there on BroadStreetHockey.com and on the Broad Street Hockey YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. If you like any of this content, make sure you subscribe to Broad Street Hockey, the independent home of Flyers coverage here. All the support goes to the people you see here on camera, writing the articles, on the podcast. So appreciate all of your guys' support. And until next time, thanks for watching.